8 of the craziest NBA stat lines in the past decade. With the NBA on pause, some of us have resorted to watching reruns, while others have taken their 2K skills to the next level. We all can't wait to watch basketball again. Until we hear word that the season will resume, we decided to dig into some of the more interesting statistics from the game of the last 10 years. So let's tip off today by looking at 8 of the craziest stats in the NBA from the last decade. Triple-doubles. Players like Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and LeBron James are some names that should immediately come to mind when thinking about this stat. One of the hardest achievements to do, yet they make it look so easy. So what is so unique about the triple-double? Well, from the 2010-2011 season to the 2014-2015 season, there were a total of 189 triple-doubles, which averaged to about 38 a season or 1 every 2.09 games. However, in the last 5 seasons, 2015-2016 to 2019-2020, there have been a total of 521. That is an average of 104.2 a season, or a triple-double every 1.27 games. That is a major change from the last 5 years to now. During these last 5 years of triple-doubles on the rise, Russell Westbrook led the NBA in that category each season outside of the current one. Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC is the only team in the last 10 years to have 2 different players win the coveted MVP of the NBA. The crazier thought here is that at one point, they actually had 3 MVP players on the roster with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Harden was the only one of those 3 to not win it with OKC. When Kevin Durant won the MVP in 2013-2014, he stopped LeBron James in repeating as MVP, which would have made him MVP for 3 consecutive seasons, which has not been done in over 30 years. LeBron finished second that year. What's even stranger is that the Thunder also prevented another player from three-peating the MVP when Russell Westbrook won in 2016-2017. That player was Steph Curry. Curry, however, did not finish within the top 5 of the votes that year. OKC is low-key the MVP three-peat killers of the NBA. Here's where it gets even crazier. In the last 10 years, the OKC Thunder have won the single-player scoring title in 6 of those 10 seasons. And only 1 player out of those 10 previous winners have not worn the OKC jersey. Don't believe it? Look it up. OKC is the shooting capital of the NBA. Sorry, Golden State. Stats don't lie. 60-plus points. High-scoring games is what the NBA is all about today. Each year, there is always some player that will put up more points than anyone else. But has it always been like that? Well, instead of going 10 years back, we will just stay with the last 5. In those last 5 years, there has been at least 1 player to score 60 or more since the 2015-2016 season. It has happened 10 times in the last 5 years. James Harden leads the pack in this stat with 4 different 60-plus games. Out of those 10 games, there have been 3 losses. Damian Lillard, Kemba Walker, and Devin Booker all ended up losing those games where they put up 60 or more. Devin Booker is the only player out of that group to put up 70 or more and still end up with a loss. Booker only had 35 points with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter of that game too. So for him to score 35 more that quick, damn sons, can't you get him some help? 6'7". The average height in the NBA in the last 10 years has been steady at 6'7". So why is this so important? Well, even though players are usually around this height, it was usually distributed decently well across the floor, so there would be a good, even mix of players of all different heights. The 6'7" height now is more referring to the point guard / shooting guard role. This height is now becoming an average in a position where smaller players have usually excelled. Taller, leaner, and positionless players are becoming more and more common. In the last 5 years, there have been more and more players coming in the NBA who play multiple positions. This versatility is one of the biggest reasons why the Toronto Raptors were able to do so well when they won the NBA title. This is also another reason why the Golden State Warriors were so dominant for such a long time. we can only imagine what the next 10 years will bring. 3-point shooting.
Gets it in, Middleton for the tie. Oh my goodness! To shoot. James steps back, three from there, and knocks it down.
NBA players are great at making shooting look so simple, but in reality, it's every possible way to beat teams. The most common route to that? Well, it's shooting the three. In the 2010, 2011, and 2011-2012 seasons, the NBA three-point champion was making under 200 three-point shots a season. From 2012 to 2013 to today, well, that number is at an average of 312.6 made per season. Three-point shooting has become a staple in most NBA teams today. Some players have also made their entire career off of this. The Curry brothers are two of the more famous ones who have nearly perfected this shot. And the Golden State Warriors even have nicknames for Steph and Klay Thompson. They're known as the Splash Brothers. In the past 10 years, three-point shooting has been rising and there are no signs of it slowing down. The Houston Rockets are the one team that seems to live and die by this. They have led the NBA in the last 3 years in attempts per game, and each year they average more. Players have embraced the three-pointer and will just about take as many as they want a game. Coaches allow it, players look for it, and fans enjoy it. Everyone seems to win. The question is, when is the enough is enough moment? Beast mode activated.
4 to shoot. Parker, spread the needle. Oh, what a block from James! Tries to get back to spin this thing badly. It counts out the
And no player who has played more minutes than LeBron James. He has logged over 29,000 minutes. In that same time frame, no one has scored more points in the last decade than LeBron. This insane stat was also done in 766 games. LeBron had also played in 8 of the last 10 NBA titles. He may be getting older, but he hasn't lost any step in his game. Now, LeBron is not the only player to put up ungodly-like numbers. Kevin Durant is the other player to put up near similar numbers. Before the season started, KD was only behind LeBron in total points scored, but ranked as the 6th best in total minutes played. Makes you wonder how good KD could have been this season if he never got hurt. Age is just a number. The NBA has an average age of 27 years old, but not all players make it to 27. Some call it quits before then, while others have long careers past that age. In the last 10 years, the NBA has seen 11 different players play until the age of 40 years old or older. Only one of those 40-plus-year-old players is still playing today, and that ageless wonder is Vince Carter, who is still playing at 43 years old. It's not all about the veteran players, though. The NBA has also seen 5 different 18-year-olds drafted in the last decade as well. The Milwaukee Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo was the youngest to step foot on the court in the last 10 years when he took his first ever minutes at the age of 18. From what we've seen from him, it is easy to say he'll be playing for a very long time. The Greek Freak is not going anywhere anytime soon. Winners and losers. The last decade was great for some, but for others, it was a time to forget. The Toronto Raptors won their first ever NBA title. The Golden State Warriors broke a record of most wins in one season at 73, went nearly perfect in the playoffs, finishing 16-1 one year, and played in 5 consecutive NBA titles, winning 3 of those. The Miami Heat also got to see similar success, going to 4 straight NBA titles and winning 2 of those as well. There are also teams who would easily like to forget about the last 10 years. Sacramento and Minnesota. They had win percentages of only 35.7% and 35.83% respectively. There are some who would love to relive nearly every day in the last decade, but there are also plenty of others who would not think twice about what they just saw. Any crazy stat lines we missed, or stand out to you? Let us know in the comments section below. If you want to see more fun videos like this, be sure to subscribe. If you have a suggestion for a future video, leave it in the comments section below. Until next time, peace!